everyone, my name is Rosalinda Rivera and this is my video recording of my environmental health video. First of all, I'd like to share that I live in Southern California, Orange County specifically, and I found it kind of difficult to find a lot of pictures of my environment since the COVID-19 pandemic has created a space where most of us spent our time safely indoors. We limited our access to our environment just because it was a health risk to go out and be around people. But with that said, I do have a few examples of some times that I braved the outdoors in 2020. And I'd like to start off with a picture of right in front of my apartment with my dog Yogi. Most of the time we did spend outside was to get them some fresh air and walks and a little bit of active time. Even though all of the dogs that I have 3 dogs, they're all senior dogs and don't enjoy much activity, but they did like to go out and kind of sniff around a little bit. So some safe outings that I was able to do in 2020 were a couple of safe picnics. This is a park in Brea, and you can see we had our blanket out, we had our food and snacks, our dogs were in the background, and one of the great things about this large park is that we were able to find a space in the shade where there weren't a lot of people around, so we were able to have our masks out and enjoy our food. When we did encounter people, everyone was wearing their masks for safety. The air was clean and crisp, as you can see in the photo here. The sun was shining, but it was still cool in the shade. At this time, during this part of the pandemic, the playgrounds were still closed to promote social distancing and to keep kids safe. But we did see people walking, running, riding their bicycles, or like playing various games. We saw a couple playing frisbee with their dog. We saw a couple people throwing around the football with their kids. And I thought that was really, really nice, get some air, get some time outside, and some sunshine. Another activity we conducted was we did a drive up Pacific Coast Highway, and we thought it would be nice to get some fresh air, stay in our vehicles. We had some snacks, but we still got to roll our windows down and have a really great time. And these are some pictures from that drive. During that time, we also were able to stop at some rest stops when it wasn't overly crowded or no one else was out of their vehicles or at the rest stop at the time. And that's how I captured some of these images. This is a view from the highway at one of the rest stops. As you will see, it was quite foggy. This was in the fall. So we got to see some really nice fog coming up the mountains. I was really excited to be able to capture this image. It was, we were in the vehicle, we were driving, and I saw these 3 trees in like a really dark clouds. And I thought it was really beautiful, and I tried to capture it as best as I could while my husband was still driving, and I was glad I was able to capture that. One thing we really noticed during our time at the parks for picnics or driving up the coast was that pollinators were in full effect, like this little guy here in this picture. We saw birds, bees, rabbits, and other animals that maybe we didn't see that were there, various insects. And we saw that the pollinators were doing their job because there were a lot of flowers, greenery. The drive up the coast was filled with all kinds of plants and flowers. So I think in terms of environment, and I know there's been a lot of conversation about bees and the risk of bees dying off and not providing the pollination that's needed to keep our greenery alive. I couldn't tell you if there was a healthy amount of bees in this area. However, we did see some really nice hives and things like that, so it was great to see. So this is my own backyard. This is a picture of a cemetery that is right across the street from where I live. I try to take walks here about 4 times a week. I'm able to see some of my neighbors, some people that I know, others that I don't know, people that walk or visit regularly at the cemetery. I was able to have some short social distance conversations with some people, and they mentioned that they really enjoyed getting out for these walks because it helped their mental health and their physical health in a time where we were needing to stay indoors and everyone was wearing their masks, and allowed for us to get some fresh air, some exercise. As you can see, the cemetery is green and lush, and my favorite part of the cemetery walks, I go first thing in the morning, was the abundant amount of squirrels, and they really do have the best life. I would see them playing, eating, jumping from tree to tree. As you can see, like at the bottom here, some flowers. People will go and leave flowers and treats for their loved ones, and sometimes that includes food and drinks, and the squirrels would really take advantage of the food that was left behind at the different plots. And I think maybe the family members that would leave those items for their loved ones wouldn't mind to know that they visited their loved ones. They left their favorite treats, as well as the squirrels were able to enjoy some of those treats as well. This is an image of the cemetery as I'm walking up to go in for my morning walk. This was during the summer, so I went early in the morning. It was cool, it was green, just very beautiful and peaceful, quiet place to go for walks. About a week ago, we had an occurrence of what we call Santa Ana winds. These are very strong winds in the area that create different kind of harm to the environment and to the people. So as you can see here, I stepped out my door, looked to the left, and this is what I saw. It was very close to my window. The Santa Ana winds did knock down a lot of trees in the area. We also have a lot of palm trees in the apartments, and there were palm fronds all over the parking lot. So it did create quite a big mess and hazard. Another thing that can happen during the winds, it creates a higher risk for fires. We also had some power outages, and the winds create, a lot of dry weather, and that could create some health problems for people. For example, I myself have asthma, and the winds did create some breathing problems. So that's the report I have for my environment and my surroundings and the people that are part of those surroundings. I appreciate you taking a look and look forward to learning more about how our environment health and our personal health as well. Thank you.